I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Late night is off. Tom Segura went on Instagram. He shared a reel and he wrote, F word. I effing shot myself in the leg. I was at my buddy's ranch. We'll come back to that. I was at my buddy's ranch and I was trying to, do the old Western stuff where you spin around and you effing, like Billy the Kid, and I effing shot myself in the leg. It was in my good leg, not in the leg I effed up trying to dunk. That refers to breaking his other leg, trying to do a dunk back in 2020. That went viral at the time. Segura does a podcast with Bert Kreischer. On that podcast, Bert Kreischer explained, for anyone who's listening, Tom accidentally shot himself in the leg out on Rogan's ranch, and that's why he couldn't be here. Comedian Justin Martindale commented, Tom, I expected this from Kreischer, but you feel better, man. Giannis Papa said, I'd press charges. Don't let you get away with it. All right, I got an email from Just for Laughs Toronto. The subject line, JFL Toronto has an updated lineup, ! All right, let's take a look at this. Toronto's Comedy Festival, September 22nd to October 1st. Newly added artists include Gerard Carmichael, Les Espookies, Hot Tub with Kurt and Kristen, that's fun, Todd Barry, Nick Thune, although it says Niche Thune, oops, Late Night Surprise, and a bunch of other things. The 42 comedians that are spotlighted include Craig Ferguson, Mark Maron, Veer Daz, Gerard Carmichael, Man of Steel's Neil Brennan, Fred Armisen, I'm not going to read 42 names to you, let's see, Bamford, Todd Barry, Otsko, Joel Kim Booster, Melissa Villasenor, Reese Nicholson, Beth Stelling, Kurt Braunohler. Thought you said you weren't reading 42 names, Johnny. It's not 42, it's some. Randy Feldface, Emmy Blotnick. Then the email says, not exciting enough, we're launching an epic free street festival. Enjoy a full weekend of free entertainment on Front Street and in Bercy Park. The street festival includes Russell Peters' Old School Mixtape Live, Craig Robinson and the Nasty Delicious, this is fun, the Goddamn Comedy Jam, and about 20 other things I didn't read to you. That's cool. I'm going to click on this thing that says Click Here Street. Running from September 23rd to the 25th, the inaugural free street festival will feature a large stage, food trucks, bars, including some stuff from a brewery, and local area restaurants, arts installations, and other activities. It's also free. Maybe I'll go up. We'll see. All right, this next story is horrible, and then I'm going to back it up with a silly story because this next story is horrible. From Yahoo, following an August 2021 lawsuit filed against SNL alum Horatio Sanz, his accuser is now listing Jimmy Fallon, Lorne Michaels, and Tracy Morgan as defendants, claiming the trio enabled Sanz's alleged misconduct. Quoting Yahoo, the woman, identified as Jane Doe in the legal proceedings, accused Sanz of grooming her when she was 17 years old in May 2002. Doe stated that Sanz kissed and groped her while attempting to, I want to keep the podcast clean, do something with your hands, at a party. Per the filing, Doe and her friends regularly attended SNL after parties from 2000 to 2002, between the ages of 15 and 17 years old, after Doe joined the online SNL superfan community as a Fallon fanatic. The suit alleged Sanz and Fallon first emailed to thank her for creating a fan page for Fallon. She was later invited to after parties for the sketch comedy series. Doe claimed Sanz and Fallon would drink with her at these parties when Fallon knew she was a junior in high school. Continuing to quote the Yahoo article, SNL and NBC Universal mega producer Michaels allegedly advised her to pursue a writing career at one after party, per the claim. Former SNL cast member Morgan allegedly also rented out the space for an after party in May 2002, during which Sanz groped Doe against her will. Sanz's attorney has denied the allegations, claiming Doe sought a $7.5 million payout before filing the suit in August 2021. The attorney is quoted as saying, this individual's claims about Horatio Sanz are categorically false. However often she repeats her ludicrous allegations or tries to rope in other high-profile names to generate media attention, they will always be false. Before filing this lawsuit anonymously, she demanded $7.5 million in exchange for her silence. We, of course, refused and will vigorously contest these totally meritless claims. All right, I'm going to go silly here. From LA Eater, it's a big day, man. Kevin Hart's first plant-based fast food restaurant is up and running as of today. 8901 South Sepulveda Boulevard. Hart House is less than a 4-minute walk away from the LAX adjacent location of In-N-Out Burger, which is always impossibly busy. This from LA Eater. Kevin Hart said, "We wanted a price that doesn't turn customers away. It was extremely important to us from the beginning to make affordability a massive priority. For me, it's about getting the customers that aren't necessarily your target or your demographic. You're trying to appeal to all. Hart House is plant-based, but it's really good. How can we get everybody to say, I want Hart House today? I'll say it if you buy a commercial. Kevin Hart added, that's something I've been able to do in my career. I've been able to travel the globe and do my job at a very high level by appealing to everyone. So for Hart House, I wanted to match the world of me and what I've done and have that same global appeal as we grow and as we go. Hart House, open from 11 a.m. to 9. No breakfast, dude? Come on, expand the menu already. A second location will open in Hollywood on the southwest corner of Highland and Sunset in a former McDonald's. A former McDonald's is a thing? That spot will be Hart House's flagship and drive-through location, directly across from Hollywood High School and Chick-fil-A. And just 1 block away from Hollywood's own In-N-Out Burger. I have some things for you to listen to. I'm the writer on a podcast called Palace Intrigue. We talk about the royal family. Now, Meghan Markle finally put out her podcast. She had on Serena Williams. And with all things Meghan Markle, the reaction is polarized. A lot of people like her. A lot of people, not so much. So if you want to follow the whole Meghan thing this week, it's a nice, juicy gossip thing. I emailed the script to our host, Mark Francis, and included the Michael Jackson popcorn gif. Or are you a GIF person? Whatever, GIF. That's what I emailed him. So much fun, so much fun. I also host a casual travel podcast. It's called Travel is Back. What I do is I go places. When I'm there, I take out my phone or my portable recorder and I kind of record some stuff. This week, I'm in Montreal with my son, and you get to listen to me run on Mount Royal. A lot of heavy breathing on this episode. Travel is Back wherever you get your shows. Stuff having nothing to do with me. Check out the Pete Holmes episode with Jimmy Carr. I'll put it in the show notes. If you listen regularly, you know I go on and on and on and on and on about Jimmy Carr. If you're like, I don't get it, Johnny Mac, listen to this episode of Pete Holmes. You made it weird. Carr is on his A game. The Sklar brothers are co-hosting with Pete. They are wonderful snipers. And Carr is just rolling and the Sklars are rolling. And at one point, Pete Holmes jokes that he doesn't even need to be there. It is very, very funny. Kathy Griffin shared on Twitter that her dog would be taking a trip to the vet. Kathy Griffin, who's 61 now, wrote, Little Maggie the dog is getting a tooth extracted today. We tried to get her to stop eating rocks. A little while later, she wrote, Maggie's home, a little drowsy, but overall in great health. The doctor only had to remove/fix a small slab fracture, but the tooth is saved and the root is very healthy. The pack is back. Don't worry, she'll be extra super duper spoiled with treats and cuddles. HBO announced that Curb Your Enthusiasm will be back for yet another season, and HBO Suit says Larry outdoes himself season after season and always manages to come back when the audience needs him most. Yeah. We're thrilled for him, whoever Jeff Schaffer is, and our phenomenal cast to continue making us laugh and cringe in equal measure. Larry David said, playing the role of Larry David has been the greatest honor of my life. In researching this multifaceted, multi-talented man, I discovered there's more to him than I ever could have imagined. He speaks 6 languages, brines his own pickles, and spearheads a national movement to install the bidet in every home. I've also been told from numerous sources that he's the most generous of lovers. I'm so excited to once again transform into this force of nature. I only pray that I can do him justice. Update on Community. Dan Harmon said, the fan that Instagrams every day about Community and when there's going to be a movie, how do you tell them, yeah, it's definitely going to happen, but it may be between 1 and 8 years from now, which is how the industry works, especially when you factor in pandemics and whatnot. There's an outline for it. There's a product put together and pitched out in the world. I guess that's how real it is. Across the pond, which nobody actually says, ITV unveils broad comedy slate for their upcoming streaming service, ITVX. New comedy titles include Plebs, Soldiers of Rome, Deepfake Neighbor Wars, Ruby Speaking Count, Abdullah, and Significant Others. Plebs, Soldiers of Rome, or is it Plebes? You tell me. Is a feature-length special based on the award-winning comedy series Plebes, or is it Plebs, which has had 5 successful seasons? The special will follow Marcus, Grumio, Jason, and Aurelius as they join the army in peacetime to break away from their humdrum lives in Rome, but when war is declared, they're sent on the front line and must fight for survival. Speaking of Rome, I'm watching this Rome thing on Netflix. It's not comedy at all, like not at all, but it's a lot of fun. ITV also has Deepfake Neighbor Wars, a 6-part 1-hour series, which will use the latest AI tech to turn the UK's best new impressionists into celebrities and have them argue with one another. That's fun. The celebrities who will argue with one another, except it's not really them, it's impressionists, include Nicki Minaj, Tom Holland, Mark Zuckerberg, Billie Eilish, Beyonce, Mark Wahlberg, and Chris Rock. That's a good time. Significant Other is about two lonely neighbors who embark on an obstacle-filled relationship after drastic life events bring them together. Count Abdullah is about a British Pakistani Muslim doctor in his mid-20s stuck in an identity crisis caught between his religious mother and his secular hedonistic friends. Isn't that called Rami? It's not, because I didn't read the next sentence. But when Abdullah is bitten by a vampire, he suddenly becomes the ultimate outsider. Okay, so it's The Walking Dead Rami. I'll watch. Ruby Speaking follows Ruby's misadventures and is inspired by the years that actress Jade Adams spent working in a call center. The Family Pile tells the story of four sisters who've lost their parents and are picking up the family home to sell. Let's check in on The Fringe. Sean McCarthy writes for the Comics Comic website. He went to a bunch of shows. He was at Caitlin Cook's The Writing on the Stall and gave it 3.5 stars out of 5. This special places Caitlin Cook in a bathroom stall, conceptually at least. With a toilet sitting center stage, Cook transforms the venue into a bar, herself an imagined patron of that bar, and the audience, her fellow patrons. Her crowd work invites them to her world, and we're all with her as she shares her character songs, all fully inspired lyrically by the scribbled graffiti on the bathroom walls and stall. The Guardian gave only 2 stars to a show called Bruce Willis Is My Dad. They wrote the show's become something of a work in progress for Kate Hammer, who's been rewriting it after she found out that early audiences were convinced she believed she really was Bruce Willis's daughter, and that made them fear for her mental well-being. The one-woman sketches often strain and sometimes are based too much on an in-joke. It's pretty hacked to do a spoof charity appeal, and her sponsor a comedian ad seems needy. Meanwhile, imagining Bruce Willis doing a tight 5 minutes at his local comedy club is better in conception than execution. And that's your comedy news for today. You can follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you get your shows, and I'll meet you back here tomorrow.